Bluff City Media presents The Anthony Sain Show on YouTube at Bluff City Media. Stepping up to the microphone is your host, Anthony Sain.
Acknowledge me.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to The Anthony Sain Show. This, of course, is your host, Anthony Sain, live from the Bluff City Media Studios here, high on top of wherever the hell we at. Y'all do not need to know where we at. Just know we ain't in nobody's house. Just know that. I got my boy. I do not have Kenny Stubblefield across the glass today. I have a good friend of mine. He was on here a couple weeks ago. Paris Sharkey of Bluff City Media across the glass. Paris, what's going on, my brother?
What it do?
Man, good to see you, brother. Good to hear from you as well. You are unseen on the screen. No one ever sees the producer on this show. So welcome, brother. Welcome.
No problem.
I'm looking at you now. You look like you know what you're doing a little bit. Good to see a brother employed, man. You know what I mean?
So if Kenny was your white conscious, am I your black conscious?
No, because I'm black. So you would not be my black conscious. You would be my younger conscious. How about that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Kind of like Looper. You ever seen that movie Looper, bro?
Nah.
Okay, well, don't worry about the joke. Yeah, don't worry about it. All right. Got a great show today. Got a good friend of mine coming in segment 2 to sit down with Sain, with Rob Fischer of Grind City Media. You guys also know him as being the sideline reporter for the Memphis Grizzlies. I have a confession to make to him, man. I used to troll Rob like few others in the city of Memphis before me and him got to be cool. I'm going to talk to him about that when he comes on. Really excited to hear what Rob has to talk about. Rob as a person is also a big advocate for mental health, man. I hope that he allows me to talk with him about that today. I'm sure it's going to be an awesome interview with Rob Fischer today. Looking forward to that in segment number 2. We, of course, got the three-pointer. We're going to talk about some things that are going on within the NBA and also in college basketball here. And Jahvon Quinerly was in town. We're going to see, we're going to talk about that, his visit to Memphis, things like that. Segment number 4, of course, inside the same brain. Keke Palmer's baby daddy is just out here, man. We're gonna have to address that, brother. I'm glad I got a brother across the glass from me today, Paris Sharkey. I was gonna talk about the rules to Spades. Actually, is what I was gonna talk about. I was like, well, Kenny might have been able to go with me on that. But if I'd have known it was you, Paris Sharkey, I would have rolled with you. On that one for sure. But let's go back to since we last talked. Since we last talked, Paris Sharkey, some important things happened. The person that the Grizzlies added that they signed in free agency, I think I'm at least 10 years older than you. You're like 33, 34, right?
31.
Yeah, I'm a dozen years older than you. So this person hits a little different from me and you. Derrick Rose signed a 2-year vet minimum deal with the Memphis Grizzlies. The first night of free agency, I was laid in my bed watching the whole free agency thing unfold. And the level of excitement, Paris Sharkey, was pretty high that night to see Derrick Rose, a young man that 2008 was a wild year, Anthony Sain, Paris. My mother passed away that year. The Tigers, the day that my mom passed away, I want to say, it was the weekend of Memphis versus Tennessee that year with Derrick Rose.
Oh, the 1 versus 2 matchup?
Mm-hmm. The 1 versus 2 matchup was the same week of my mom's funeral. And I remember watching the national championship game a couple months after my mom passed away. Tigers are up whatever the amount was, whatever amount of time. I've kind of erased it from my memory. Don't tell me. I remember that, and I was like, man, these bastards about to win one for my mom. And as you guys know, it did not play out that way at all, Paris Sharkey. Derrick Rose was, of course, on that team. Magical run in 2008, man. But I thought they were about to win one for my mom. And all the tears I cried, it was compounded, man. I was still mourning my mom. And then they tricked off that game and lost. Yeah, so it was double dip of hurt for Anthony Sain in 2008. But Derrick Rose, of course, is a super exciting player from that era. Went on to be the youngest MVP in NBA history. One of the more exciting players. Alley-oop machine, just coming down, dunking on people, a violent dunker, incredible court vision, incredible ability to get to the basket. And Ja Morant, who's on this team, of course, has been compared to him. His game has been compared to Derrick Rose a lot. A lot of people also have the injury concerns with Ja when it comes down to comparing him to Derrick Rose as well. And I just thought he was the perfect signing. There are different people that may look at this signing differently. I don't really care what Derrick Rose brings on the basketball court. I think that just him being your vet, being the oldest player on your team, with a guy like Ja Morant, who they've had a similar past, not just on the court but off the court. Derrick Rose, of course, was involved in a sexual assault situation, I think back in 2015, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
I think he was found to be not guilty. It was no contest or something, but he was able to stay clean after that situation and stay away from any other scandal throughout his career. And I think that he's someone that probably at the height of his career didn't think that it was going to turn out the way that it did now. And I think having a player on your roster who's been through some things like that can talk to Ja, that can say, hey, I know you're on top of the world. I know you've got the endorsement deal. Hey, I had one too. You know what I mean? I've still got one. I think Adidas still takes care of him. I think he had an Adidas athlete shirt on when he was getting at the photo shoot the other day. And I think it's a guy who can, man, everything you've done, I've done those things as well. And let me help you get to where you ultimately want to go. And I think it's a beautiful situation to have a guy like that on this team, on their roster. Like I said, man, we can have a whole nother debate about it, have a whole nother discussion about what he can possibly do on the court, because he's only 34 years old. He's not an old man on the court yet. He's knocking on it. You know what I mean? But we've seen older guys or guys in this age group that are still doing well. Mike Conley, Kyle Lowry, LeBron James, of course. Chris Paul, who's even older. I think he's like 38 years old. I'm not going to say what he's not able to do, but I do kind of question what he will be asked to do this particular season. But I am extremely excited about that. We did a podcast about that already. The thing I'm most excited about to see, Paris Sharkey, will definitely be the moment that Ja does some wild shit on the basketball court, like an alley-oop or slams on somebody that just does something crazy, and he gets the seal of approval, the nod from Derrick Rose. That's what I'm looking forward to. So I think there's going to be a pretty epic moment. Paris, what are your quick thoughts on Derrick Rose coming to Memphis?
Man, I love the signing. Like you said, hey, I grew up Derrick Rose. I was in high school during that whole championship year and everything. Then growing up, I was a Bulls fan, so I was cheering for Derrick Rose up until they traded him away. So,
yeah,
hey, huge Derrick Rose fan. Love the signing, especially to help out Ja Morant. And even like you was talking about with both of them being similar players, that helps Ja too, because Ja tends to get reckless, trying to jump over people, jumping over Anthony Davis in the first game of the playoffs and getting hurt.
Yeah.
You got Derrick Rose to learn from, who got hurt doing the same stuff.
They tell him, slow down a little bit, kid. Slow down. You got a long career, man. Slow down a little bit. Definitely was excited about that. Also, since we last talked, Desmond Bane got paid. Desmond Bane got paid. I tell you, he did for sure. I'm excited for him. I'm happy for him. There's been a couple people who don't really know the Grizzlies like that, or may not even pay attention to the whole grasp of the league. Same people who probably question this FIBA America basketball team, whether it's a good team or not, may not be aware of how good Desmond Bane is. Just to end all that talk, period, you're talking about a guy who, in his draft class, easily top 5. You might want to say top 3. Some people might say top 2 in his draft class. A guy who's, averaging 21 points per game, one of the better three-point shooters in the entire NBA. That guy is a max player in any market. I don't care who you're talking about. Excited for him. Excited the Grizzlies have him locked up. And they're clearly letting their wallet speak for them and saying that Desmond Bane is a guy we believe in. He's part of our young core. And that's another thing, too, man. People talk about inactivity, things about that the Grizzlies aren't doing. You can't knock a team who's drafting max players, man. And if you look out throughout the league, there are currently 3 teams that have 3 max level players that they're paying. When I say max level, you're either getting the max or you're making more than $26 million per year. And there are 3 teams that I noted, Parrish, that fit that criteria. You know what those teams are?
Denver Nuggets.
They're the Denver Nuggets, the Golden State Warriors, and us.
Oh.
We are the only team. Those are the only 3 teams that have 3 guys that they drafted, or they're homegrown. Either you drafted them or you acquired them on draft night. And that's the Denver Nuggets, the Golden State Warriors, and the Memphis Grizzlies. The only 3 teams that have their own homegrown max-level players on their team. And I think this awesome company to be in. Shout out to Desmond Bane for sure, man, and all those type of things. We're about to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have Rob Fischer come on for the Sit Down with Sain. We're going to talk about everything we can, man. The Summer League is jumping off. People coming at me crazy, man, on Twitter. Got John Morant and Jake LaRavia coming at me on Twitter. A beautiful moment. I'm excited about it, I guess. Whatever it takes for Jake LaRavia to come out and do his thing. If I have to be the sacrificial lamb for my brother in Christ. Jake LaRavia. Whatever it takes, man. But we'll take a break. When we come back, it's going to be Rob Fischer here for the Sit Down with Sain. We'll see you guys in a minute on the Anthony Sain Show.
What's up, guys? I'm so excited to announce that we have partnered with Coaching for Literacy, and you can read more about them at coachingforliteracy.org or follow them on social media at Coaching for Literacy. Your subscription to Bluff City NIL is 100% tax deductible because of our partnership together. Thank you for supporting Memphis Tiger student athletes and helping promote the monumental cause of childhood literacy.
Welcome back, everyone. You are here for the Sit Down with Sain. Very special guest with me to my right, a legend in sports media.
Wow.
A fellow pop star like myself.
That is true.
In his media game. We are not journalists. We are not media members. I don't care what y'all heard. We might be the two coolest dudes in Memphis media, Rob, for real. Because it's a lot of dudes that they're skilled, but they're kind of, lame-os. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, good skill. Good skill in
But
town,
they just ain't got that pop appeal. You know what I mean?
No.
When they show up, people ain't trying to get autographs and
and they ain't showing up looking like we look.
Right. Then they show up for every damn thing. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
no, we ain't got time for all that.
Shaking hands and everything. I'm not shaking. I don't have time to shake hands.
We just show up for the major shit, man. We ain't doing all that, man. Yeah.
Hey,
sure.
before we get going, so I'm listening to the show last week, and your guest brings you a gift.
Yeah, he did.
The Sain char.
Yeah, he had the John Conchar T-shirt.
So I brought a gift.
Okay, what you got?
It's for the studio here.
Okay, cool.
Do you remember Bonzi Wells, his last appearance with the Grizzlies?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite Grizz ever, low-key.
And it didn't end well.
No, it didn't end well at all.
Including a wristband that was thrown up into the crowd on his way off the floor.
Don't tell me you got that.
For the last time we ever saw Bonzi Wells, the rest of his career.
You got the wristband.
I got this for you.
Oh, shit. Damn, that's a real deal joint. Oh, snap. Bonzi Wells for the
wristband
from
his last game that he ever had.
There you go.
At FedEx Forum.
Turned upside down. It's a 9 now. Shout out to Tony Allen and shout out to Drake. Oh, no. There you go.
Yeah, so
there it is.
Bonzi's wristband. I thought that'd be good for you.
It look good, too. Hold on. It ain't in the shot, though. Hold on. We go put it in front of the refrigerator.
There we go. Perfect. That looks perfect.
There it is, man.
Oh, that stands out. That is great.
Who you telling?
People are going to say, what is that? You're going to say, Bonzi Wells wristband.
Yeah. Or Tony Allen, however they want it. You know what I mean? For sure. We are here with fellow pop star Rob Fischer. He is not a media member. Neither am I.
No.
Good to have you here, Rob, for sure. Rob, I have a confession to make before we get started. As you know, Rob, I was talking about the grind of getting in the journalism industry, media industry, with one of the interns, one of the young man I'm working with. And I was saying how, and in that grind, man, I've done a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? I've done podcasting. I was doing like 4 a.m. radio to record a podcast, all those type of things, right? And Rob, you've always been my guy. I've always had respect for you. But, man, I used to get my jokes off of your ass, right?
Oh, I know. Yeah, I remember when you were just a trolling Twitter guy too. I
wasn't sure if you knew I was getting them jokes off on you, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, you my guy though, man. So we
all right.
Yeah,
that's all right.
for those of you who didn't know, there was this beautiful woman here that was a friend of mine in the city of Memphis. Her name was Kelly Evans. Yeah. And I was pushing a campaign for Kelly to be the sideline reporter.
Yeah.
Because I ain't really know you, bro. But you so swagged out.
Let me tell you something. Every city not every city, but almost every city that we go to, the guys in the truck and the guys that we travel with, they all want to trade me for the sideline reporter on the other team. So I hear it every city that we go to. There aren't many of us guys as sideline reporters anymore. Yeah. You know, I mean, I think there's maybe a handful in the entire league. And I went to the NBA meetings last year, and they're like, yeah, all the sideline reporters over here. I was like, wait a second. Am I at the wrong table? It's me and like 18 women. And I was like, what's going on? Where are all the dudes? Where'd they go?
Yeah,
where are they at?
Times have changed.
And but I did not hold court that day.
Yeah.
So it is at home. You know?
And I saw you, the first one-on-one experience I had with you, I was on a road trip somewhere. I think it's either New Orleans or Chicago. Might have been Atlanta. But I saw you outside, and I said, well, he didn't try to beat my ass, so I guess we good. I guess we good for sure, man.
No, I'm happy for you in this show, man. It looks great, sounds great, and like I said, I remember you being a trolling Twitter dude, but
ain't much changed on it.
But everything you've done, you've done a great job getting to where you're at and being able to do what you do, and I've never nothing but respected you, man, and so I wish you the best. And I know you feel the same way, and I know all that stuff. Past is just something in the past, but but yeah, man, we've talked a lot, and I'm proud of you, what you've been able to accomplish, and where you've come. And it's always cool because I was a guy that I worked my ass off from the age of 19, and I've been in this business since I was 19. And at the time, there were only 9 sports radio stations in the country,
right? And
I was working on one of them. And, so I went through the internships and the getting, the station goes under and everybody's fired. I was 20 years old and already fired from my first radio job, and then got another opportunity. It just kept busting my tail to do it. So when I see people who bust their asses to do it as well, it makes me smile because too many people, just think it's really easy and think they should be handed things in this business. And they shouldn't. You should have to earn it. And, a couple people like us, a couple pop stars like us.
Pop stars like us, man. Yeah. Never. I felt so insulted, man, when I had the incident with Jake LaRavia on Twitter the other day.
Yeah.
And then Jock comes in, he calls me media. I'm like, man, media? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
like,
media.
Like, bro, I didn't.
He stopped following me on Twitter.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's awful, man.
I assume he stopped following a lot of people because he follows like 100 now.
Yeah, he's down to. Oh, you didn't make this last cut, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
You were on the island until this. Oh, man. That's tough, bro. That's tough, man.
Although maybe he'll follow me on Threads. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he's just waiting to. Yeah. But yeah, man, shout out to 12 for real, man. I was laughing at that whole situation. It's like, I'm a troll, man. I mess with people on Twitter. I get my jokes off.
Sure.
And I've been changed my stance on Jake LaRavia. I was like, okay, I talked about that in the first segment too. Like, this team has the opportunity to just develop their own dudes. And it clearly looks like what they're about to do. So I was pulling for guys like Jake, pulling for guys like Roddy, et cetera. I just had to give me one last joke in, man. And it just didn't go.
It was a good one.
It was a good one.
It got Jaw's attention.
It got Jaw's attention for sure. But yeah, man. So what do you think about the offseason, what you've seen so far? So far they got Marcus Smart via trade on draft night. Derrick Rose is a free agent signing. The draft, you got Gigi Jackson, who we've seen in Summer League. What are your thoughts on what the direction the Grizzlies seem to be going in?
I've liked all the moves. I think the team is improved. Marcus Smart, I think for what he brings to the table, more than just being a player that he is, and he's a player that replaces a guy who did a lot of those same things. But then his leadership as well, and I think that's an upgrade. Tie us for Derrick Rose. I'm cool with it. I mean, I hear a lot of people talking about, you signed Derrick Rose and not to really play.
That's where I'm in. That's where I am.
That's kind of silly. You don't sign a guy to a 2-year contract and not play.
You think he's going to play?
Yeah, I think he's going to play. I think they need him to play.
Okay.
And I'm not saying big minutes, but I think he's still capable of playing.
Oh, yeah, I think that for sure. I don't think he's like,
I mean, we saw 2 years ago he scored 50?
Something like that, yeah.
So, I mean, I think he can still play without having to be, your main guy. That's where he is in his career. And I think he understands that's where he's at in his career. Hell, Tom Thibodeau made it very clear that's where you are in your career. So I think he can play a little bit more than he did with the Knicks. So I'm cool there. I think that's an upgrade for your depth on your team. Gigi Jackson, I don't know. Draft picks, I never want to guess because when they look in summer league, I don't know, man. Yeah, so
I just called Peter Emerson. I don't have time for it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have time for this, man.
Call somebody else. They can tell me about
Chip Williams. I don't have time.
He's who? Oh, okay, cool, great. Yeah. That's what I'll use from now on. But I trust the front office and guys that they draft and. Everything you hear about the kid of, if he stayed another year, maybe he's a lottery guy or even top 5 guy. Right. Okay, sure.
Hey, if you say so.
Oh, let's great. Let's go for it.
You know better than me.
Maybe he'll be starting by the end of the year. Who knows? Right. But I like the improvement of the team. My question is it enough? Mm-hmm. You're kind of small now.
Yeah, because it looks like they're about to run 3 guards.
Yes. I mean, when Ja comes back, Marcus Smart is starting, right?
Right. He got to start him. You didn't get rid of 2 first-round picks.
Put him on the bench.
Yeah, he's going to play. Yeah.
He's going to play. So you're going to be small, but you're a little bit better. So I'm okay there. And then when you look at your depth, my problem right now is it's a lot of hope. Mm-hmm. Hope David Roddy improves on his rookie year.
Yeah.
Hope Jake LaRavia is maybe the guy like Santi was last year and takes that big step this year. Hope that John Conchar can give you more than what he gave you a year ago.
All right. We're gonna pray about that one. That's not really hope.
So there's
kind of past that hope phase.
Hope that Derrick Rose is healthy, and can play. There's a lot of hope with your depth. And when you look at the NBA championship this past year with the Denver Nuggets, it was their 8 were better than your 8.
Right.
It was 6, 7, and 8 and made huge impacts in all of the series throughout the playoffs. Are our 6, 7, and 8, are we confident that they're making impacts in the course of a playoff series?
Right.
There's hope. A lot of hope, I think, for these guys. But, is it possible that hope becomes reality because we're asking about a lot of different guys? Sure. I mean, you expect David Roddy to. Can Zaire Williams return to his rookie season and build on that instead of what we saw last year? So there's a lot of guys that can fit the role, but who's going to grab it? Because last year, nobody grabbed it, really.
Right.
Roddy kind of grabbed it, but then he was out of the lineup for a long time, and then maybe he grabbed it again, and then he was out of the lineup for a long time. LaRavia never did. Conchar never did. So those guys on the bench that you were like, who's going to play the backup 2 or the backup 3? What are we going to do there? Well, we threw a lot of guys in there. Yeah. No one really grabbed it.
Right. And Conchar's like, damn, I got to do all this shit. I got to be the 2 and the 3. Yeah.
So if you're going to be a contender, which I think this is the year that you have to say going into the season, you're a contender. You've got to have that solidified. And hopefully, again, somebody steps up.
I'll say this. I do agree. We are contenders. When you're a team that's had that good of a record this many years in a row for the last 2 years, you're definitely a contender. But me personally, I've moved the goalposts. Like I've dropped my level of expectation. And it was 2 things that I saw this in the playoffs to make that happen. Seeing Boston get bounced out of there again. Yeah. That talented, but still young. And Miami, seeing what they're doing with like just Jimmy Butler and dudes. You know what I mean? Like, and what I'm saying is, I still think we're a contending team, but I'm not at the point where I'm like, I don't know, man. It's like, it's kind of hard how I feel because I'm like, if things shake right, a young team like us could break through and win, but it just feels so unlikely.
What are we missing?
Just time and experience, I think, man. If you just look throughout history, like young teams with young cores don't win championships.
You're right.
You know what I mean? So, because even like that Thunder team with Westbrook, KD, James Harden, they just looked like kids when they got against LeBron and them, who were just a little bit older than them, who kind of been through it a little bit more. So I'm down for whatever. Like, I think it's going to be a great season regardless, but because I had this championship formula lined out last year where I'm like, okay, you got a top 10 player in the league, Ja Morant. You got a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, Jaren Jackson Jr. You got one of the better shooters in the league. That's a championship formula 10 times out of 10. And we look like kids in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So, and when I saw Boston, who's got 2 All-NBA guys on their team, look like kids in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So, and it happens. So, I just think it's kind of more of a to be determined.
And obviously, a lot has to do with Ja.
Yeah.
What Ja are we going to see?
Exactly.
Who's Ja going to be when he comes back? This team can contend, but they can't win a title without him.
No.
And he needs to be the
Right.
leader and the guy that takes him there. I mean, that's what superstars do. So hopefully when Ja comes back, he dives into that role. I mean, the hope thing is weird because I mentioned this to someone the other day. 2 years ago when the Grizzlies were a 2 seed, even late in that season, I was always asked the question, are they a contender? Excuse me.
Right.
And I thought, well,
shit, I think they are.
it's tough to put them there because they're young. They've never done it before. But they're the number 2 team. So I guess they're
I've
a contender.
seen them beat everybody. You know
But if
what I mean?
you asked me the question, is this team going to win a title in the next 5 years? I would have said yes.
Oh, yeah.
Belief, yes. 100%. Now, just 2 years later, you ask that question, is this team going to win a title in the next 5 years? I think it goes back to what I was talking about.
I hope they can. Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
So belief's gone to hope. Window hasn't closed, but belief, I think, has gone to hope. And this is a big year to kind of prove, I think, as a team and individual players that we're taking a big step. We're on our way to a championship.
You talked about, how we have hope and the guys on the bench and all those type of guys. Nobody really breaking through last year. So far in the summer league, we've seen David Roddy play, Jake LaRavia play. Zaire Williams isn't playing for whatever reason. Who have you saw, and what do you think about what you've seen in the summer league so far?
I don't know. It's the thing is I usually take from summer league is I don't take anything unless it's bad.
Yeah, that's me too.
Right? I mean, because
you ass, you might just be ass. Period.
right. Because this is it's G League basically with some NBA guys in it.
Right.
I mean, upper level G League.
Right.
So we got the best assist guy in the G League last year, and he's playing really well.
Right.
We got the MVP of the G League last year. He's playing really well. We got a couple of guys who were in the NBA last year. They're playing really well. Well, they should. They should play well. I didn't like LaRavia's first game. He came back and had a game that I expect from him. I mean, these are guys that dominate when they're with the hustle. Dominate. So they should play very well in the summer league, and they are. And it's good. I'm the guy that just jumps off the charts for me though. Still, every time I watch him play is Kenneth Lofton Jr. He's so much fun to watch. When he was in college, I got to watch him a lot because his team made a deep run in the conference tournament. And I was betting games, and I was like, well, I'll bet this game it's on. And who is that dude?
Right.
And then 5 minutes later, it's who is that dude that is dominating this game? He's such a unique player. He is so skilled offensively.
Yeah. So
skilled offensively. It's incredible. His ability to go after the ball, even though he doesn't have the height, is fascinating to watch. He's got to get better as a defensive player in the NBA, and just needs to polish some things for the NBA. I love watching him play, and every time I see him, he impresses me. I love it.
Yeah, I have trying to think the word I can say because he's probably going to watch the show. My son is a little bonus size. He's kind of a thick kid, right?
Yeah.
And the joy I get, man, of watching him watch Junior Lawson, because he gets amped to see Junior out there. He's so freaking entertaining, man. And he's like, you're looking at this guy who's like, he just looks like he's just like this. He's just this big kid out there having fun, and he's killing people, man. Like he's destroying dudes. Like I don't know how much of that could translate to the league, but we're still talking about putting the ball in the basket, man. And he makes that part look
thing.
Easy.
And I think that, I don't know if it'll be this year, but I think he can play in the league. I think he could have a nice long career as just a dude in the middle that gives you hell.
Right.
I mean,
so hard to deal with,
pisses
man.
you off because you're like, what is he doing? And if he could get with Zebo and kind of learn the,
those moves.
Get away from me move.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so good on the offensive end that it's he can play, and he does get after it rebounding. So that's one thing defensively, but he's just got to be a better defensive player.
He's just so damn fun to watch, man.
But he's so much fun. He is.
My
And
God,
then he
man.
pulls up from three and he hits.
It's crazy.
I mean, he's a kid that you root for.
Yeah,
I root
man.
for him a lot. I really do.
Shout out to him for sure, man. Another guy that I definitely root for, and if Gabe's watching, I'm sure he's going to be rooting for him. Is definitely his favorite player, Jaren Jackson Jr. He's getting ready to go play in the FIBA basketball tournament. Probably going to start in that tournament.
I saw that the roster today. I hope he starts.
Yeah, he better. If he ain't starting today, we in trouble. But now, with that being said, though, man, we talk a lot about the next level for Jaren, and we know that without Ja being there, you're probably going to need to see a next level from Jaren. What does the next level for Jaren Jackson Jr. look like this season?
I think we saw a huge jump this past year. Mm-hmm. The defensive stuff's incredible, and really the only thing you need to say about defense is just continue to stay out of foul trouble.
Right.
I mean that's the biggest thing.
He did pretty good with that.
He did real good
in the
over the course of the season. There were some big games where he did get into foul trouble, but I mean that's going to happen. But it was much better this year than it was the previous year, but that's got to continue. But everything else defensively, his timing, his shifting, everything he does is just amazing. So just keep doing what you're doing. Offensively, he did it a lot this year. Just the no hesitation drive to the basket and throw it down.
Yeah.
I think the next step for Jaren is the mindset of I'm bigger than you, I'm quicker than you.
Yeah.
And I'm better than you. Yeah. And just take it to people.
Mm-hmm.
He's hard to stop. When he goes to the basket and has that long step.
Oh, it's over.
Right.
You can't do nothing but foul.
Kind of like Ja, a little mid-range something that maybe he can throw in there. But I like what he does from three. I like what he did from three last year. He didn't force a lot of them. Mm-hmm. He just kind of shot them when they were in the game, and he had a wide open spot. But he didn't. It felt like the year before it was almost like I have to take so many threes. It didn't feel like that at all. One time last year that it felt like he had to take them. So I just think more attacking in the paint. I think at first with Steven Adams, it was hard for him.
Right.
There was that time that Adams was out. I guess it was maybe at the end of not last year, but the previous year, where Adams was out a little bit. And Jaren, it was an amazing transformation of him going to the basket and throwing down and going to the basket with authority, and nobody could stop it. And it was like, wow, well, is Steven in the way? Is that the problem? Right. Then Steven came back, and Jaren kind of figured out, and Steven figured out how to do it, how to be able to do it with him on the floor. So, man, I hope to see Steven Adams back, because I think that would make Jaren's development even more so. He just continues to grow as a player, and there's no reason to think he won't again this year.
Watch his transitions, Cole. All right, you talked about Steven Adams making room for Jaren Jackson Jr. on the court. Twitter.
Oh, God.
Oh, that was a cold transition.
Cold.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Pop star shit, man.
Yeah.
Twitter is making room for a competitor right now. Threads is what they call it. It's by the Meta company, the people that brought you Instagram,
dude,
Facebook.
I last night, I mean, it was an issue for me. Last night I was watching a ball game, and I had just gotten home, and I was like, oh, see what's going on through Twitter, and everybody's talking about how they're leaving Twitter and going to this Threads. And I'm like, well, what the heck is going on? And I'm trying to look it up and see what's going on. I don't know. I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah.
So then I was like, well, let me see what this Threads thing is all about. And I went over there, and I was like, well, I better sign up. Everybody else is signing up. So I did it. Everybody else is doing it, so I might as well do it.
How dare you leave me behind?
And I'm miserable. Right now, I don't know which way I'm supposed to go.
I'm too old for this shit now, man. I'm not going to start a whole new page and
with
get
no followers or nothing.
I'm coming up on 10,000 on Twitter.
I've been doing this for 15 years.
You want me to start over?
And you want me to start over on a new thing?
If it had like a port button, like,
and I don't need all my Instagram followers. I don't need to follow all them, because a lot of them I'm just looking at the pictures.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to get into details. My IG, I ain't following Adrian Wojnarowski on Instagram.
No. Woj is not following on Instagram. I don't give a damn what Woj is talking about on Instagram. But I'm following, or Windhorse for that matter. No way, no chance.
Or the NBA, or the Grizzlies, or no.
But I got to follow on this Threads. And I mean, today I spent too much time today of my life sitting there going, follow. All right, who else do I need to Sain. I'm on Sain show. I'll follow Sain. Right,
I'm not doing all that, man. I don't have time for it.
Jeez. So I wish I could just transfer all the Twitter people over.
Twitter and Instagram need to have a conversation like, look, man, drop off the records.
Apparently they are, because now there's a big lawsuit. Because apparently the Instagram people, the Meta people, have been stealing stuff for decades and using it as their own idea. And they're saying this is another example. So
there it is.
Lawsuit. Yeah. Big deal. Big deal. So stay tuned. But follow me on Threads at @thefishnation_.
Yeah, follow my boy, man. Follow my guy, Rob Fischer. Fellow pop star in this Memphis media thing.
Yeah. And to be a pop star, you got to be on Threads.
Rob, thanks for coming on today. Of course, you guys know Rob Fischer. He is the sideline reporter for the Memphis Grizzlies. The only sideline reporter that Memphis Grizzlies have ever known.
That's right.
Never been a woman up there.
Yeah. There was.
It was a woman before you?
Yeah. Nikki McCrae. What, Nikki McCrae?
Nikki McCrae. Damn, Rob, how long you been doing it?
This will be my 17th year.
God damn. I remember her doing that too for a little bit.
Yeah. She did a little bit. Hasseltine did it for a minute.
Nah, I'd rather see you than Eric, I'm sorry. Had to choose dudes to put up there.
He still hasn't forgiven you for all the trolling you did him. Just be honest with you. Just be honest.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah.
Hey, I'm going on Sain show. What are you going on his show for?
No, the hell with him. Bro, why the white man get so mad at jokes, bro? Do you... I don't understand it, man. Shout out to Eric though, man.
Yeah.
You guys know Rob, everything he does, pre and post game show, host for Bally's for the Grizzly games. You guys know him from that. You might know him from The Odd Couple on Grind City Media, as well as Infield Fly. 2 awesome podcasts you guys can check out there on Grind City Media. Final question for you, Rob. I've known you for a while now. You came on our show after you had an article that came out about some of the victories you had involving mental health. I know that you are a huge advocate for mental health as well. Why is this so important to you, and what are some of the things that you think contribute to you having victories within that realm?
Well, it's important to me because I do have bipolar suicidal depression, which sounds horrific.
Yeah, it sounds kind of tough.
I mean, every time I say it sounds awful.
Yeah.
And it's something that I deal with every single day. And I mean, it took me from the moment that I was diagnosed and kind of learned about it to the moment that I talked about it with Jeff Calkins and he wrote the piece was about 15 years. And I finally felt it was the right time. And it meant a lot to me because when you battle depression or other mental health issues that there are out there that you can battle, it was embarrassing to talk about. First person I ever told them about it, the first response was, "What do you have to be depressed about?" It's like, well, I'm not depressed. I have depression. There's a much difference. Because what do I have to be depressed about? I have no idea. So my whole thing about talking about it was to let others know that they're not alone. And, you know, I thought that someone that, you know, has a dream job that I have and a family, a great family that I have, that all of those things, you can still suffer. And I just wanted to let people know that they're not alone in that. And it was amazing to me that the response I got from it was incredible. And I knew there'd be a big response.
Right.
And a lot of people saying, "Oh, you know, we're with you, you know, go Rob." But what it did was it made me realize how many people out there just know someone or are dealing with it themselves and have never spoken about it and are sending me messages saying they're going to talk to a doctor now. They're going to do this now. I mean, all of that, it for how much I wanted to just help somebody else, it helped me more than anything. And I'm very grateful for it and all the feedback that I've gotten on it. And so it's something that I, you know, try to battle every day, and some days most days are better than others, but there still are some bad days. But you know, like I said, just want everybody to know they're not alone in dealing with it, and you know, it can happen to anybody, and we've seen it happen to Anthony Bourdain, and we saw it with Kate Spade, who both took their own lives because of it. So you know, it's something that I have really tried to champion over the last few years, and just try to help as much as I can.
But I'm glad to see you winning, man. You definitely affected me because I remember at that time when I was reading the story and seeing somebody that I, you know, looked up to and just kind of, you know, watched you up close work or whatever, it was like, okay, it made me start assessing my own self. Because, you know, unfortunately in the black community, man, we just don't do those type of self checks. We don't go get the help.
Right.
We feel like it's like we just don't do it. We just don't do it enough. And I started noticing triggers within myself where my behavior would change and my mood would change. And yeah, man, like it's definitely something that made me open my eyes to kind of do self checks on myself. Yeah. To make sure everything was good. You know
good. Good.
It's okay for it not to be be. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
I got some insurance now though, Ross. I'm actually go to the doctor. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Good. Well, that's good. That's the first.
Yeah.
That's
First I was like, we go somewhere and lay down for a minute.
Yeah, you're good.
But yeah, man, I appreciate you, Rob, for sure, man.
You got it, man.
Man, you're one of the people I really could say is a friend of mine. We don't talk a lot. We don't see each other a lot. But every time I see you, man, it's 100. And I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Sure.
You got it. Pop stars. We stick together,
pop star
man.
shit. That's what we do, man. When you see us in public, just keep it moving. We ain't got time.
That's right.
We ain't got time for none of it. But yeah, we're about to take a break, man. When we come back, it's a 3-pointer. We're going to chop it up here next on the Anthony Sain Show.
What's up, guys? I'm so excited to announce that we have partnered with Coaching for Literacy, and you can read more about them at coachingforliteracy.org or follow them on social media at Coaching for Literacy. Your subscription to Bluff City NIL is 100% tax deductible because of our partnership together. Thank you for supporting Memphis Tiger student athletes and helping promote the monumental cause of childhood literacy.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Anthony Sain Show. Just wrapped up a great segment with Rob Fischer, a good friend of mine, man, media pop star in the game. He is not a media member, and neither am I. We're a little bigger than that, a little bit more important than that. I asked someone with the Memphis Grizzlies, would they consider me a pop star or media member, and they said a media member. I said, I totally disagree. She said, on second thought, you're more of an influencer. That's what they said, Paris.
Sound about right.
I'll take that. I'm a sports media influencer, I guess. We're going to ride with it. I'll take that, man. But yeah, the 3-pointer, where we talk about 3 things that are important in the world of sports. Number 1 story that everyone has been talking about today. Your girl, Britney Spears, man, got the shit slapped out of her.
She did, though.
All right, man. You guys have heard the story. Has there been any video of this? Like, how did this not get recorded?
Nope, no video.
All right, it's a lie. It didn't happen then, man. Like, I don't believe. Okay, all right. No, I don't want to be conspiracy brother either, but it just seems like if Britney Spears and Victor Wembanyama were in the same building, somebody would have pulled the camera out. Someone would have pulled the phone out, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's say that it did happen, which I'm sure that something happened. All right. Why are we just walking up on 7'5" like that? And then they said the brother was trying to leave and she grabbed him, allegedly. So, yeah, let's not. If you see, if to everyone out there, if you see Victor Wembanyama out in person, you can't miss him because he's damn near 8 feet tall. He probably had to duck to go into the door of the room you're in. You're not gonna miss him at all. Just leave that brother alone because these security guards do not play. There's a gentleman that does security for the Memphis Grizzlies. You may have confused him with Eric Hasseltine. because he looks like Eric. You know the guy I'm talking about, Perry?
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, if you see that guy, he puts in the work. I've seen him. Did he tackle Dylan Brooks? He did something. He did something this year where he like did something to de-escalate the situation.
One of the players will almost get into a fight.
Yeah, he don't play. Like quit walking up on these NBA players, man, for sure. Thoughts and prayers to Britney Spears. The story that said that he basically backhanded her and pushed her away. What can that be like? I hate to get jokes off about this, but I am. Like, what is it like to be like mega star Britney Spears? Like one of the biggest pop stars, true pop stars ever in Britney Spears, and to get handled that way because you walked up on a real tall dude in the casino.
Rolled up on the wrong people.
Hey, keep your hands to yourself, man. It works. It definitely works. Number 2, the Portland Trail Blazers seem to not be going for the bullshit. Perry Sharkey, who doubles as a Miami Heat fan when he's not a Grizzly fan. He's a big fan of Jimmy Butler. I know Jimmy Buckets is your guy.
Buckets.
I've voiced my hatred for the Miami Heat franchise several times on this show in the last few weeks, the last few months. They are an entitled franchise with entitled fans that I think rival only the Los Angeles Lakers fans as far as having these entitlements where they feel like everyone is supposed to get their players ready to ultimately be Miami Heat one day. And I think this is the approach that they're taking with this as well. All the signs are pointing to Damian Lillard, who has came out and said he wants to be traded. Signs are pointing that he wants to go, could be going to Miami. That's the team that he's picked to be his destination. He's used some strong words like, Miami or else and all these type of things, allegedly. And I for one, I don't want anyone to get my words twisted. I'm a very pro-player type person. I'm fine with players being able to move, within limits the way they want to. But if I am the GM of the Portland Trail Blazers, first of all, I have a job. My job is to make the Portland Trail Blazers the best organization that I can. And with that being said, I'm not sure that I'm just going to send Damian Lillard wherever he wants to go. Like his contract is, first of all, he's under contract. And he's not under the same contract like Bradley Beal, where Bradley Beal had a no trade clause and he can say, okay, I want to go to this team. And no, you can't trade this player for me. Damian Lillard doesn't have that type of power. And I know we've seen so many bad trades over the years that where front offices have caved and sent guys wherever they want to go. As a fan of a small market team in the Memphis Grizzlies, I am rooting for Portland to drag this thing out as far as they possibly can. I do not want to see them just give Damian Lillard to Miami for Tyler Hero and freaking Duncan Robinson, bro. Like that. I understand that's where Dame wants to go. I understand Dame has been loyal, all these type of things. I get all that, man, but I'm not a fan of just like these mega teams getting together and guys just going wherever the hell they want to go. Because it starts setting the expectation of, hey, once a guy doesn't want to go somewhere, like he has to go to this big market team or he has to go there. And as a Grizzly fan, I'm not excited about that day because there's gonna come a day where you're paying, because Jaren Jackson Jr.'s next contract is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be insane. You're gonna be talking about around $50, $60, $70 million a year possibly. You're talking about what, 3 years from now?
Yep.
You're talking about a contract that's going to be nuts. Desmond Bane's contract is going to be big. Ja's going to get paid again. And you may have to have the same conversation with one of our guys. And I'm not in the business of just letting someone come in and fleece a roster and you get back whatever. Am I saying that Dame's not going to end up in Miami? I'm not saying that. But I hope that Portland pushes this thing out as far as possible. I commend them for it, man. I commend them for not just, sending him wherever he wants to go and disrupting the ecosystem of the NBA, like we talked about a few weeks ago. Number 3 on the three-pointer, Jahvon Quinerly was in town for a visit to the University of Memphis. I'm going to predict the future and possibly say that by the time you guys watch this on Friday at noon, you may have seen an announcement saying that Jahvon Quinerly is officially a Tiger. I do predict that he does commit to the University of Memphis. All the writing is on the wall, all the signs, all the people who know who are in the know, who stalk teenagers for a living, they are leaning towards Jahvon Quinerly committing to the University of Memphis. And like I said last week, I'm excited about it. Penny's putting together a hell of a class, and having a kid like that to be your conductor, to stir the drink, so to speak, I think is an exciting time. I think he's going to be a hell of a player here. Like I said, by the time you guys watch this on Friday, I'm assuming I'm hoping, Perry Sharkey, that will be official with Jahvon Quinerly. But we're about to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to do Inside the Same Brain. I told you what we're going to talk about already. We're going to talk about Keke Palmer. I might do a big joker, little joker discussion as well, since I got a brother across the glass. We'll be at Perry Sharkey. We'll chop it up about that and more here on Anthony Sain Show.
What's up, guys? I'm so excited to announce that we have partnered with Coaching for Literacy, and you can read more about them at coachingforliteracy.org or follow them on social media at Coaching for Literacy. Your subscription to Bluff City NIL is 100% tax deductible because of our partnership together. Thank you for supporting Memphis Tiger student athletes and helping promote the monumental cause of childhood literacy.
All right, y'all, welcome back to the Anthony Sain Show. Just got breaking news. Perry Sharkey, the Grizzlies did some shit. Y'all tell me about it tomorrow. I don't have time for it. There's something about some pick swaps, and I think y'all was saying the Warriors pick might be coming back. Hell no.
Great analysis.
I don't know, man.
Bunch of picks.
Hey, go follow Chris Harrington on Twitter. He will be breaking it down for you guys. Isaiah Todd is coming over. I'm assuming that's to get waived. I'm getting texts and DMs saying, "Oh, the Grizzlies are up to something." This reminds me of a couple summers ago, the year that we got. Was that 2 years ago when we acquired? Come on, man, not Iguodala. No. Shit. Patrick Beverly. We got Patrick Beverly. Yeah, and then the year we got remember we had like
did we have Dwight Howard?
Man, yeah, we got Dwight Howard and all them different dudes.
Dion Waiters.
Yeah, I think it's just like financial moves, man. We're helping other teams that are trying to break free, and we're just getting shit back. But yeah, y'all might hear something different by the time you watch this tomorrow. But yeah, Inside the Same Brain, where I talk about things that are going on in the world, typically outside of sports. You want to do Big Joker, Little Joker, and Keke Palmer or what?
Let's get it. Wherever you want.
Let's do it. All right. Keke Palmer. Keke Palmer went to go see Usher. I'm assuming in Vegas. A lot of people are going to check out Usher at his residency in Vegas or whatever. Keke Palmer came out, just had a baby, was looking postpartum thick. She was looking postpartum thick in her video with Usher and her boyfriend, to remain nameless because I don't know who this brother is. Just a little red dude. That's all I can tell you. Perry, do you know his name?
Nope, can't think of it.
Never heard his brother before Keke Palmer got with him, and I've never heard of him to this day. Came out basically on Twitter saying stuff about her being a mom and how she shouldn't dress that way, and people, of course, attacked him about it. I've got two things to say. Number one, I do not understand. That seemed like an in-house conversation. I feel like if he didn't like what she had on, he could have waited until she got home, maybe, and addressed that. Or the same stuff that he put on Twitter, he could have put that in a text message. Texting still works in 2023.
I agree.
I assumed that was his lady when I first saw it, and then when I read into it, I saw it as like his baby mama and all these type of things. They're not married or whatever. I don't really think that matters as much as the fact that, dude, why are you putting this on Twitter? Like, why are you addressing her on Twitter? That whole part lost me. And number two, I'll say this. Get with who you like. I know that sounds simple, man, but that's all I got. Get with who you like. And what I mean by that is, if you like a conservative woman who doesn't dress like that, get you a conservative woman who doesn't dress like that. Because, dude, Keke Palmer been Keke Palmer since she was 10. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to change her, man. She's a celebrity. You know, I think I saw that, like, he lives with her and he doesn't work. And, like, dude, go ask Stedman how to do that shit. That's never been my thing. I've never been the guy who wants to live off a woman. But for those of you who do, I'm sure that he's not. I'm sure you're probably upset today. He's not going about this the way that typical guys who live off of rich women go about this. So, yeah. Get with what you like, man. Like, you can't make Keke Palmer be something that she's not. If you want her, if you want to control her, get with Keke that works at the Palm Garden Apartments. Cause that ain't who you got, bro. You got somebody who's, she's been a celebrity ever since she was probably 10 years old, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah.
Akila and the Bee.
Akila and the Bee. Yeah, so yeah, bro. You looking bad. Now, you on borrowed time. You got an expiration date now, brother, because you didn't put that woman out there for sure. Number two, inside the same brain. I put a post on Facebook. Perry Sharkey, so glad you were across the glass today because not sure where this was going to go with Kenny. But Kenny also surprised me because he told me that he did know what seasoning the tub means a few weeks ago. Were you around for that one?
I think I missed that one.
Yeah, season. Do you know what seasoning the tub is, Perry Sharkey?
Yep.
Okay, good. Well, we ain't got to discuss that then. But yeah, 4th of July just passed, Perry Sharkey, and a game that many black people play during that time is Spades. It's a game where basically, y'all know how it works, but the element I'm going to talk about today is the jokers. The jokers usually come 2 in a deck, and there's one that looks like the rest of the cards, the standard cards in the deck, full color, and it's got a joker logo or whatever on it. And then there's another joker that actually isn't a playing card, if you just want to be technical about it. But it's a proof of purchase more so than anything that also gives a guarantee from the bicycle company to the purchaser. Basically saying that if this stack of cards you have is guaranteed to be of premium quality, if you have any problems with it, mail it back to us, contact us, whatever. I don't know the verbatim, but it's basically what it says. And a lifelong discussion is which one of those jokers is the big joker or the little joker. Because what happens in Spades is you might play a joker, I might have a joker to play as well, and whose joker trumps the other one.
Right.
So we all know this conversation. I have my reasons, and other people have their reasons. What say you, Perry Sharkey? Because we're, like I said, there's a 12-year difference between you and I. So which joker do you call the big joker and why?
I grew up in my family. It was always the one with the color on it.
It was the color one.
Yep.
All right. That's the way I grew up as well because it's the bigger of the two jokers. When I started playing games, when I started playing spades away from my family, Perry Sharkey, whether it be at summer camps or college, whatever it is, I heard people who were saying opposite. They were saying the smaller joker was the big joker. Do you know the reason why?
Nope, I never heard.
They say the reason why because it says the word guarantee on the card, and it says a guaranteed book.
Yes.
Sounds like some wild shit to me, but hey, if that's your house rule, that's what I go by. So I say this to you, everyone, black, white, whatever creed and color you are. If you're gonna play spades at a family gathering, establish your house rules first, so you can know what to do with the jokers. Can we all agree with that? Paris, do you agree with that?
Yep.
I don't know if Kenny Stubblefield is back there with you at all today.
Yeah, he back here.
Kenny, do you agree?
Just keep pushing.
Don't worry about it, bro. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So there are two things we learned today. If you want to run Keke, if you want to run a Keke, make sure it's Keke that works at the Palm Garden Apartments and not Keke Palmer, because it's not gonna work out for you too well at all. And if you're gonna play spades, check out the house rules first, because that's an important thing to do. And the Grizzlies made a trade for something.
3 seconds for 2 first-round pick swaps and Isaiah Todd.
Who probably would not be with us too long. Shout out to Isaiah Todd, though. I don't know. He might be good. I don't know anything about him. Ask Daniel Greer and them.
He averaged 1.6 points a game in his career.
Nah, we're going to get you up out here. Does he have any viral videos out?
I'll do some more research on that one.
No, okay. Shout out to Josh Christopher, for sure. For Paris Soccer across the glass, for Kenny Stubblefield, wherever he is right now, for my guest, Rob Fischer, this is the Anthony Sain Show. We will see you guys again Wednesday at noon. Thank you guys for everything you've been doing, checking us out so far. Appreciate the subscriptions, appreciate the love, appreciate you guys sharing everything. Summer League has been pretty epic for the Grizzlies. They're playing the game right now as we speak while making big boy trades. They're doing these things. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time, and we up out of here.
Thank you for listening to the Anthony Sain Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next week.